There we go. Alright, we're all good. So, there it is, as I was saying, just probably the standard sort of hatchery first. No need for the spawning pool in this particular matchup. TVZ, bit of a cool one, of course. It has seen a multitude of changes over the course of Wings of Liberty, of course, very early on. You know, pretty much a lot of the Terran players would be using, like, sort of mass marine sort of timings, and then it sort of turned into the age of bit by bit, and players like TSL Rain, where it became this sort of situation where, you know, you would just throw SCVs in with all the Marines, and it sort of became this very messy sort of game. But it evolved over time, and of course has come to a place where you know, players in MLG over the course of early 2011 were doing things with Reactor Hellions into Banshees, and it became a very, very powerful build. And of course that changed quite a lot when Queens had their range buffed a bit, and of course they are a great way to defend against both the Hellions and the Banshees. So it's a pretty good situation for both. I'd say it's nice for both sort of both races in this matchup. It kind of depends how you want to play. If you want to play for a mech style on Ohana, of course you can do things like just setting up shop just around here, making sure that you're all walled up, get some tanks and some you know, Hellions and all these kinds of things out, get ready for that kind of very ugly push that can go on, and is just very scary. Of course, the Zerg players want to try and take advantage of their mobility. They want to use things like Mutalisk. You want to see them using roaches, and well, possibly roaches from time to time. It sort of depends on their makeup, but of course Mutaling and Bane is a very common sort of way to go with that. Of course, transitioning into those very powerful Infestors, and then into the late game with things like Infestor Broodlord. Perhaps if you're a little bit more daring, Infestor Ultralisk. However, that doesn't apply to HOTS. If you get Infestor Ultralisk or Viper Ultralisk in Heart of the Swarm, then you're not daring, you're just standard. I hate you. I hate you a lot. You make me cry. But as we can see, standard sort of play out from both of the players. Perhaps a little bit unstandard for Tiffany grabbing that third command center before getting a factory or anything like that. But we'll keep an eye on what's going on. Just a very macro-orientated build out of Tiffany for the moment. And Joy continuing to drone up, of course, as you would expect from a Zerg player, with 6 more drones just popping out now. There is that factory, just a little bit after when you would normally expect it, but it's all good. It doesn't really matter too much. We'll probably see a third base go down for Joy as well very, very soon. Well, I mean, did get gas pretty early. We've got... This is mined out around about 200 gas already. As we can see, it does have the lair on the way. That's quite quick with that lair. Jeepers creepers. And a scan goes down from Tiffany. Does Tiffany get an idea of what's going on? I think so. So we'll have to keep an eye on the fact that that lair has popped up reasonably quickly there. But the third command going up here for Tiffany. We've of course got that defensive bunker there. Factory now doing a dance with the barracks, and is going to be able to grab a couple of Hellions and get them out on the field. Now what you want to do with those is send those Hellions around, control the Zelnaga watchtowers, and of course get some harassment going on the Zerg player. You want to make them earn those drones. You don't want them to be just sitting there droning up with you know, with complete abandon on their defense. You want them to actually earn it. But as we can see, Joy looks to be going for something a little bit fishy. We've got the Roach Warren just starting up, and it is going to be, hang on, wait for it, a Nidus network. So we're going to have an in-base Nidus play, or I would assume some sort of in-base Nidus play. There is the Overseer Cocoon just morphing in right now. Going to just have a quick peek and see what's going on. Going to see a very, very macro-orientated Tiffany here, and we can sort of determine that from the fact that there is this very quick third orbital command. There is a Engineering Bay 1 and 2 already researching their upgrades for those basic sort of infantry upgrades. And now, as we can see, was that a little bit of a I don't know. Interesting to see that bunker there. I don't know if that's just a very scared sort of reaction, but I mean, Tiffany has not seen a third base here. That is a big sign that your opponent is going to go for something fishy, and there it is. The Nidus worm attempting to burrow through. His nose is being poked at with drill bits. So very nicely done by Tiffany, reacting straight away, getting a good scout on what was going on. And as you can see, Ling's inside the natural here. How far can you Nidus there? chase or someone? Can you notice there? Oh, I suppose it does get seen, sort of that vision there.
Research complete.
But anyway, so plan thwarted effectively, and wow, he's so mad at that plan. He's actually destroying the Nidus network. Jeez, Joy is not happy right now. Joy, I'm going to make a pun, I'm going to have to, I'm sorry guys. Joy is not joyful at all, and as we can see, takes down his own Nidus network, and then gets a little bit of pain going on top of the SCVs and the Hellions. In fact, does clean up both the Hellions. So, where is Tiffany's reaction here? Tiffany just sort of trying to make sure that everything is protected inside the main, making sure that that Nidus network does not go up, not actually knowing the fact that the Nidus network has been cannibalized by Joy. And as we can see, it looks like the Roaches are approaching. They're going to try and get their encroaching on the base here. Perhaps going to get a little bit of damage done. That orbital command is in a bit of trouble. If that's targeted down, that may take quite a lot of damage. But as we can see, with the siege tanks already up and running, there is no way this is going to be a complete loss here for Tiffany. But we'll need to try and get some of these Roaches down from afar. The problem is moving the tanks into range while keeping them safe. And as we can see, one of the tanks goes down just because you have to try and move them into range. And with the Roaches doing that great damage that they do, they were able to actually still do quite a lot. And looking at the worker kill tally, 22 workers have been killed here by Joy. He's actually, despite the fact that his initial plan has failed, Tiffany was not able to protect against this incoming attack. The tanks were a little bit out of position, and as we can see, the Roaches have finally been destroyed. More on the way, and Roach speed is just about to kick in, which will certainly help out with these guys trying to get some damage done, but it looks as if that's not going to happen. But, wow, Tiffany has sort of been really delayed with the position that he's in right now. I mean, this has taken so long to actually get into sort of this production capability that is needed. 3 racks, of course. We've got the tanks coming out. We've actually got like more tanks than you would normally see right now. There's 4 tanks out, a little bit more than you would normally see. Normally there will be far more Marines. We do have stim researching. That's only just started. The 3rd command center is now lifting up and switching over to the 3rd base. Meanwhile, for Joy behind all of that, behind the sort of failed Nidus worm attack, gotten the 3rd base up, sitting at a total of 68 drones, a very nice tally for Joy right now, and is going to be able to continue on with this game despite that sort of failed early strat there. So Joy now is getting the infestors up and running. We've got a total of, well, none of them on the way at the moment, but the pathogen glands is just being researched. Of course, we've got a Bailey nest as well, going to add to the potency of the Zerg forces. Let's just have a quick look at the Joy cam, see what Joy is up to. Yeah, that's right, I'm having a drink. What of it? So, not really, like, what? I don't know, Joy's not really focusing on too much, but is still trying to get some damage done. Tiffany, meanwhile, up there at a very high 202 average APM, continuing to push out all of those units. We've got some more factory stuff on the way. Burrow and 8 infestors are just being finished up now for Joy. So Joy is going to switch into that very dangerous sort of Ling Bane infestor style. That's going to come out, of course, the infestors able to throw down fungal growth, and then you know, of course, the Banes and the Lings will be able to clean out those bio units. And for the moment, Tiffany is still not taking this 3rd base. Unfortunately, we'll need to drop that down. Was there a... No, there wasn't. I don't know why that hasn't dropped down yet. Drop that down, Tiffany. There you go. Wait. No. Wait. No. The biggest indecision orbital command in the history of StarCraft 2. But either way, 2-2 for weapons and armor on those infantry units is on the way. Plus 1 to the vehicle weapons is also being researched right now. And Joy is on the move. We've got some of these Lings just poking out. The infestors are here as well. 8 of them right now. Just sort of getting into position right now. Burrowing a couple. Looks like we are going to have the 4 infestor hit squad heading out right now. Banes are also morphing. Only 10 at the time being, because there isn't really too much out for Joy right now. I'm a little bit surprised that Joy has not decided to max out, but it is certainly on path to go for that. And now, as we can see, the Infestors now coming along. Very hard to see those guys unless you're fully concentrating on what you're doing. As we can see, it's just a very dark path that sort of guides where they are. And it looks like they're going to get inside completely unmolested. And these Infestors, there they go, dropping down some of those Infested Terrans inside the natural. Going to lay waste to those SCVs, but the Infested Terrans now decide to try and take their time and get the siege tank. That's not going to happen. Now inside the main, more Infested Terrans are being dropped, doing really good amounts of damage. Harvester count at 52 for Tiffany. So Tiffany is quite falling further and further behind. Ling's attempting to get inside the third, but that's not going to happen. We've got a nice line of siege tanks along with all of those Marines as well. But Joy just kind of sacrificing some of those units. Like, I mean, a lot of damage was done. We got 37 workers killed in total here for Joy, but I mean, he lost all those Infestors, then lost the Lings completely unnecessarily. But, you know, either way, still getting some damage done. It's always good to make sure a Terran is not just, you know, idly keeping their economy up. And now with a lot of Lings just popping out, more Infestors are about to come along as well. And Joy is really starting to beef up this army, up to 163 supply. Tiffany on 149 right now. And the upgrades are still coming for both players, plus 2-2 on the Carapace and the attack. For those Zerglings on the ground is just coming along right now. It's still a little bit of a way off, but on the way. And as you can see, speaking of on the way, Tiffany is now coming through. Look at the tank count. That is incredible for this sort of position. You'd sort of expect far more Marines at this point now. Right now, there are only a total of 54 Marines. I know that sounds like a weird sort of comment, but that's only 54 Marines. That's not too many, but there are so many tanks here to back them all up. We'll probably see a very slow leapfrog across the map here from Tiffany. Meanwhile, where are those Lings and the Banes? We've got one Infested now just coming, sneaking across. Is he going to be able to? Yes, very nicely done. Cleans up the Infestor and some of the creep gems. Very nicely done there by Tiffany. And now it looks as if Joy is getting prepared to try and defend this. 20 Banelings on the way. That's going to take the total to 41 Banelings. Just sitting out here at the top of this fourth base, getting ready to attack. Lings now down to the side, also getting ready for a flank as well. We'll probably see them try and soak up some of the damage. And here we go. The attack comes in, flanking from the right-hand side. Actually, all of those Lings taking a good amount of damage there. The Bane's now sweeping through. No fungal growth, but we do have Infested Terrors to soak up some of the damage, and all of those tanks get absolutely annihilated, and Joy is sitting in a very nice spot right now, able to control the map. This is what you want at this point, is you want to be able to sit there and say, alright, you're not going to get a fourth base, I'm going to take my fifth base right here, I'm going to drone up, make sure that there is enough gas coming in, because what I'm going to be doing next involves Big Hippopotamus. These big dudes down here, the Ultralisks, are going to be coming out from Joy. He's got 7 Ultralisks on the way. Couple that with the fact that there are still quite a lot of those Lings out, and 2-2 is just finishing up now, and Tiffany is going to be in a quite painful position right now, especially considering the tank count has been absolutely obliterated. Looks like the Ling's now going to come through, not even bothering to wait for those Ultralisks, and look at all of that get just absolutely ripped apart by all of those Zerg forces. 178 supply, Tiffany in quite a lot of trouble. I am not sure if mGG are going to be able to hold this game here. It looks like most of those Lings are now just starting to be cleaned up, so the Infestors need to back off, unfortunately being taken down. One more Infestor remains, but here they come. The Ultralist now on the way for Joy. He's got 7 of them lumbering their way up the map. We've also got all of these Lings in support as well. And Tiffany is in quite a lot of trouble. There are the tanks sieging up. Will they be able to take care of these Ultras? I do not know. I do not think so. But here they come. Joy has to be very careful. Of course, the thing about Ultras is that despite the fact that they're so tanky, they're incredibly bulky. And sort of do take up a lot of each other's room and can be sort of knocked down a bit. And indeed they are. Left with only 5 Ultras right now. 8 more are on the way. But, I mean, that's the sort of thing you have to be very, very careful of with Ultras. You don't want to just sort of throw them to the wind, because they are sort of very, you know, they're cumbersome, and they sort of just take the hits, and they'll take their time to take their own shots. So it's sort of hard to, you know, make them extremely cost efficient for, you know, what they should actually be, just because they're so big and you know, hard to get into battle. But I mean, when you've got a total of 13 Ultralists on the map, I don't think you need to worry too much. He's faced up against 47 Marines and 5 tanks, beautifully positioned tanks. I like the spread here from Tiffany, but the problem is that with all of these units now only slowly starting to trickle out, I think the racks count is maybe a tiny bit low, or at least the production capabilities is very low. Of course, Tiffany now mined out inside the main. That Vespane Geyser was never picked up again. I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but the natural also just about mined out. Then the third base is the only surviving base here for Tiffany in terms of mineral count. I'm still yet to see any drops. There we are. Alright, we finally got a drop coming along here from Tiffany. I think these could have come about quite a lot sooner on in the game, but just have a look at that. Have a look at that. 12 Ultralists, 34 Banelings, 4 Corruptors, and 22 Lings are also out on the field along with 78 drones. So Tiffany is going to have a hard time trying to deal with this. Here comes the fun and the pain. Looks like Tiffany is going to defend relatively well against the first line, but down come those Ultras, and they're going to reap the whirlwind. Just slicing through everything here. The tanks are gone, the Marines are gone, the Marauders are effectively gone as well, and that is probably going to be it for Tiffany right here, right now. The third base under siege, the SCVs being absolutely annihilated, SCV kill count going up to a ridiculous amount, and here, you know, that's what I was saying before about Ultralists not necessarily being cost effective, is these guys are hacking through Marines one at a time, but they aren't being brought down slowly from high ground. But I mean, when it comes down to it, you're up at 56 supply, 4 Broodlords are morphing in. We've got the tech switch going over to Broodlord Infestor, and this is a very painful time right now for Tiffany, and I'm sure the other members of mGG, because they are probably about to go down in this game. It looks like Tiffany did get that drop off, nicely done to come in there and get some harassment off, but a little bit too little too late here from Tiffany, and the Broodlord siege will begin. Throwing down their babies there like Michael Jackson, just on top of those supply depots. They're going to remove those, make way for the Ultralisk and Broodlord army, along with the backup support of all of these Lings and Banes, because Joy is about to be coming through, and no matter how much micro you've got with your SCVs there, Tiffany, I don't think you're going to be able to stop this onslaught. And here they come, valiant Marauders and SCVs on the top of the ramp, trying to take care of what they can, but it's all, as I said, too little too late. Stim and maybe some sort of stalwart defense here at the top of the ramp may be able to hold off for the time being, but the Broodlords are coming, there are more Corruptors coming, and Tiffany is going to be going down now. It's a great game here between these two players, and I mean, Tiffany, you know, handled that initial sort of play from Joy quite well, of course, with the Nidosworm attack being failed, and then you know, holding off. The problem was when the roaches just came in the front door, they're like, all right, we can't come in the back door, let's just roll through the front. And that was probably a part that set Tiffany back quite a lot. I mean, we saw 21 worker kills in that just that singular engagement there. So that was a big part of when you know, Tiffany went down in this game, and dancing Lings down on the ground there, just dancing their way around. And as you said, that's going to be it for Tiffany here. They're now just dancing and cheering. It's crazy. The last stand, the final stand of our Terran player Tiffany. Fungal Growth, Infested Terrans, Banelings, Lings, Corruptors, Overseers, and of course the Ultras at the back along with those Broodlords. And that is going to be the end of Tiffany right now. In fact, it really should be, because, you know, we're kind of sitting around at 26 supply. Come on, Tiffany. Come on, Tiffany. That's the end of that. There is another drop down at the left-hand side. Tiffany trying to get some damage done, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that a squadron of Marines and a single Marauder is not going to be able to cope with 183 supply of Zerg right here, right now. Lifts the buildings, a little bit BM there from Tiffany, but I mean, you know, whatever. So, make sure you follow Liquid Ret on Twitter. Hashtag GSL. There is another drop there from Tiffany. Nicely done. taking apart that base. He's going to get the hatch there as well, I think. Maybe? Maybe not? No? GG. So down goes Tiffany, and unfortunately for mGG, that means that the victory will go to QED for this clan war between these two teams. Really well done by both teams. I think that was a pretty even fight for most of the time there. I mean, we saw some PvPs. We saw some very short PvPs. We saw a great PvP with two of our players there. I believe that was Nemesis and Burks. Sorry, Burks. I totally forgot who it was for a moment there. Nemesis and Burks with a fantastic PvP. We, of course, did also see a couple of 4 gates out of Stod. We also did see Cheesy Fogu having a couple of good games as well. But bringing it home was joy for QED. Very well done. Cheers to QED. And that was a really fantastic job by them. So, great job, everyone. Make sure you go and follow me on Twitter at DuckphilLol and also Facebook. Do go follow the Facebook thing. It's facebook.com/duckphil.casting. I have some really big cool news that's about to be announced, probably, I think, at the start of next week, but somewhere around now in the next week or so. It's really cool, and I'm going to need everyone's support. So if you liked what you saw, please be sure to like my Facebook page and stick around, because there's going to be some really cool stuff coming up very soon. Also, speaking of which, Masters Cup on Sunday. I will be doing the Masters Cup starting from 8 PM Sunday, I believe it is. So make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be a whole lot of fun watching those the higher level players playing it out there. And yeah, shout out to everyone in the chat. You guys have been beautiful, and I will see you all